Oh my, a little frustrated. Went down to Starbucks. Thought I'd go back to my old buddy London Fog. Whoever made this does not know how to make a London Fog. Good news is I like tea, so I'll drink it. Now I went down to Starbucks, not for the London Fog. I went down to get Amy a drink and a sandwich. She was frazzled. All the fillies she takes care of today were acting up. Jailbird Jog was horsing and squealing and oddly enough run. She switched horses with Tyler in the last set because Degas was acting up. Now, I told her I'd gone with both those fillies last week. They were great. They can't be great all the time, but you can't, especially on days like today, you have to stress to them the difference between jogging and training, right? Jogging, you can gallop a little bit and act up and have a good day and play. But when you turn to go the right way of the track, it's training time. And, some of them, you can see the ones that are dialed in right now. And it's always a great feeling to go with a horse that is just laser focused on work. And it's a rare thing. It's December the 11th. It's a very, very rare thing to have any sort of horses that are just on it, right? They understand it. They're dialed in. Now, obviously, it being in December, you can't keep them that way all the time, right? You can keep them dialed in, but you got to let them relax after a bit. So I just dropped off Amy's drink. I'm heading back to the house. I'm going to wash the suits because both of us were just covered in mud by the time the last set went. And then we had other horses training today. Century Legion trained good. Jason trained Memory and Imagination and Sunny and Victory because they're going to be qualifying next week. They went a hard training mile Saturday. We'll come back with another stiff 1.5 miles on Saturday with them. Thursday and Friday are supposed to be very, very cold. I shouldn't say very, very cold. For the winter, no, they're going to be chilly. But for when we woke up today, plus 3, 4, 5 Celsius, and above zero temperatures we've been used to the last little while. And then for it to plummet again and get down into minus 10 Celsius, which is, with the wind chill, the better part of minus 20, it's going to be really cold. So we opted to train them today. We'll come back Saturday. The weather's supposed to break a little bit on Saturday also, and it should be easier to train them up good too. So today it was all about the babies. As I said, Amy was a little frazzled, a little angry, and I told her, I said, you're just going to have to roll with it. Today is a very good learning day for me. I get to see if there's any changes that need, and there are. I get to see if there's any shoeing changes or equipment changes, right? Any horses, take note of any horses over on shafts or on the line. We're going to do that also. But also take note quietly of the ones that are doing it very, very well. I went with a horse that I probably don't need to go with for a while in Perfection Hanover. Oh my God. I don't know what the digs were on the Tall Dark Strangers because we didn't have any, right? But as far as work ethic, attitude, and speed go, there doesn't seem to be any knocks on Perfection Hanover. He jumped on his foot about 4 or 5 days ago and it was starting to bother him a little bit. He actually come on the track today a little sore on it. He jogged right out of it, and it just, as soon as we went the right way, he just put it away, right? It's not bothering him anymore. It's not on the line. Nothing's bothering him. He's just waiting intently. When I cut him loose down the backstretch, oh my God, he's just playing with them. He's kind of looking at them, and then he just scooted right by them all. And then just sat outside a Millie Girl, and I told Joey in the last turn, just settle. They're going a little bit much. Although all those horses were dialed in because they were all kind of right there finishing. And that was a little more speed than I thought we would show them today. But nobody seemed to be shying away from it. And they all seemed very, very good. It certainly wasn't crazy. It was the last half of 122, which is a little bit more. That's 1.44 miles, which is way more than we were going. But we did get over the first half at 30. So we ended up going 1.52 miles, which is okay. But you don't want, it wasn't a necessity going 52. If we had went 56, it was fine too. Today was more about you than about them. They're learning. We're teaching them the very remedial skills they're going to need later on in life. But today was about you. And I have to remind all our trainers out there, a couple of them were dogging it at the back and the horses were acting up. I said, you guys know when you on the track if the horse has a chance to act up or might act up, and if there's any inclination that they will, score them down hard, thaw them out, and get their attention. Because we have clients that are watching these videos. We're going to have horses make breaks, but I want to come on here and explain why. And if I don't know because you're way at the back on the run, then that doesn't help anybody. Oh, that horse, maybe needs a little more weight. Maybe needs a set of trotting boots behind her. Murphy blind inside. I went with Alyssa Hanover today. Now, she had made a break and run all over the track on Jason the other day, and I went with her. She was running in a little bit and would make breaks. So I went back in, put another set of bell boots on her, put a Murphy blind on the left. Had I went for a set of trotting boots behind, I think we would have had a great set. But in the last turn, she just got creeping in a little bit, touched herself and made a break, which I don't really care. It's not the end of the world. But these are the adjustments we have to make. We have to understand. And I can't ask everybody. I can't ask, people with different levels of knowledge of babies in general and our babies to be able to make those adjustments. But I need them brought to me so that I can go with the horse next week and I can make those adjustments. Anyway, today, as I said, was all about you. You didn't get everything you wanted. There was some horses that made breaks and did not look great today. So I'm going to go through everybody. I'm going to tell you what I saw. I'm going to tell you what went wrong, probably with the horses that it went wrong on. And I might even tell you how we plan on mitigating that. First set, don't ask again. I was playing chaperone. I was backing up a little bit. I yelled to Jason Merriman just to cool it on the front because there were horses at the back that I wanted to catch up, right? Can't do that if you're going, a quarter this time of year in 45 seconds, which is a half and 30, that's okay. But if that's what they can go, how is anybody going to catch up? I don't really care what the time was today. Just slam the brakes on and let everybody catch up, which is what he did. Tomboy Strong went up the inside. Those two horses looked very good today. Tomboy Strong continues to look good. And the things that maybe I ended up not liking about her brother don't appear to be present, right? She does carry a little more weight than he did. She can turn it on quicker than he can. And she's no problem just continuing to go on. It's impossible for me to look at what kind of gas tank you have in a horse this time of year. But their ability to use the tools that we're giving them as we give them to them is important. Now, I don't play nice look great last year, but as we started to really push on the accelerator, there was a whisper, a concern, is this horse going to be able to carry this speed? How fast can he get and can he carry it? And he faltered as we got past 2 minutes. I don't even know if he got past 2 minutes. But as we got to that marker, that racehorse, okay, let's evaluate this horse as now a racehorse, he failed. That doesn't mean he can't pick it up this year and be a quality animal. But he has to march forward. His sister doesn't appear to have those same traits. Now, I couldn't tell you with any certainty that when we get to 2 minutes, we won't struggle also. But I can tell you that she's doing her work a little more fluidly, happily, and quicker than he did at this point. Take that with a grain of salt. As I said, it is December. Pretty Eyes and Lies continues to impress me. The thing I love about this filly was her brother stood off a little bit and was fast, strong, was a really good racehorse for us. She stood off also, but when you have horses that stand off, you're worried, are they going to find those knees and shins? We had a horse today that needs a shoeing change, and he's in the set too. To Captain Doodle, touch the knee, touch the shin. That's just interference and getting out of gear, but we haven't moved to fix him the same way we did Pretty Eyes and Lies. We're going to do that right now. The blacksmith is working on him. I suspect once we get him all cleaned up, there won't be a problem in that regard, because he too seems to have a pretty good attitude. Just stands off a bit, looks he's going to come to his shins or his knees, and he may find them. That's okay. But when they start hitting him a little bit harder, it really starts. What it does is it starts to erode away. It erodes their self-confidence, right? You can get a horse that touches her knees, hits her knees, and can push forward. You remember Rosemary Alexandra last year. She got into her knees. We got her out, kind of, and towards the end of the year, she showed some real life, but she never did really come off of her knees completely. Now, I'm hoping that she's filled out her chest a little bit more and her shoulders, and that won't be a problem this year. But all these horses can overcome. All comes down to work ethic, your desire to do your work. And and you don't want to chip away at that, especially this time of year. So we're going to make the changes for Captain Doolittle. I'm sure he'll be fine next week. He looked great up until they come out of the last turn. I can tell you exactly what he did. Came out of the last turn, touched his outside knee, and made a break. Didn't touch it hard, but he didn't touch it. It bugged him, bothered him, and he made a break. That shouldn't happen next week. So Pretty Eyes and Lies, I love the way this filly looks. I like her attitude. She was really trotting hard on the end of it. Tomboy Strong just looked good again. Go Strong, Hanover. This is Locatelli's brother. This guy looks really, really good. I'm like you. I'm left saying, hey, why 10,000? Why was he only 10? And I'm telling you, I was a blink away from getting him for 7. How does Locatelli's brother, with good confirmation, this horse is not towed out, how does he bring that? I don't know what to tell you. All I can tell you is he's doing his work well. Jolene Hall, knuckled over, give her passion a whack, and then come up a little bit sore on it. She sounded up as she went along, Jason said, but he's way at the back with her. There's not much you can do at that point. The week before, he won the set with her, so I'm not really that concerned with Jolene Hall. I don't think there needs to be any changes. Just stay the course. Maybe start painting her stifles a little bit. Some of these horses are at the 3rd week of their shoeing. Need to shorten those toes up a little bit behind, and quite frankly, we may Baycox a couple of these horses too. But no concerns from those horses. Emerald Tom was good. I believe Joe said maybe bell boots, trotting boots, a Murphy blind on the inside of him, if I'm not mistaken. He said he was fine otherwise. The only horse that kind of let me down was Love Sensation, and this came back to where I talked to everybody after the first set and said, hey, we have hundreds of clients that are watching us today, and in more particular in this filly, who's looked fantastic since day one. I don't really know what get into her. Was it the mud? Do we need to add a set of bell boots or something? I'll go with her this week, but can't have that happen, right? Can't be way at the back and making breaks. We need to be able to nip that in the bud. No, that's not to say that horses won't make breaks. Of course they will. I can go with every horse, all 50 of them on both sides of the border, and hang them up how I believe they should be hung up. They still can make breaks. So, Love Sensation, I want to nail that down and figure out what went on today. It can't happen again because this is one of our better looking fillies and has been from day one. Set 2, I was so happy and impressed with Blue Rare today. This is a filly I've been touting since the day we bought her at the sale. But she'd been sick a couple of times. I couldn't really show her off to you. And even when we were going out the track, I'm watching her on the track. There's very little discharge from her nostrils, which is great because she had gobs of it even up to 10 days ago. She was really fighting something. So I was keeping a real close eye on her nose. Well, when I was near her, Jason said super strong, which I'll be honest, this was like her first ever training mile, and the filly looked amazing. Judy's Money lost a shoe going into the first turn. Going into the first turn. Lost a shoe. Stayed right at it, did her work, finished up, and I believe she won the set. Now, I haven't seen all the sets yet. Curtis was working on getting them up on YouTube, so I haven't seen all the sets, but I know Judy's Money won. I know that Blue Rare looked fantastic. I know that Had to Know looked very good. I know that AC/DC, starting to get it now, the little Stay Hungry guy, he looked good. Royal Duchess, going to change her shoes behind. She's just interfering a bit. Joe was saying, just comes on the track a little aggy. What he meant by that is a little pacey, a little out of gear. And I said, well, we've had her x-rayed. It's not her knees. It's not her feet. I don't think it's soreness. I think she's touching herself behind. And I think she's coming on the track trying to figure out how to not at all. We can help her out with that. It's something I don't like to do, but we'll do for a couple of weeks. We're going to slide a set of aluminums on Judy's Money behind. Might even put the trot and hobbles on her to help her out. But I don't think there's going to, or not Judy's Money, I apologize, Royal Duchess. There won't be any problems with Royal Duchess moving forward. I like her gait, I like her attitude. Just a little self-conscious with her mechanics, but we can help her with that. Aunt Sarah running in the last turn. I got to go with her a little bit. We've done the x-rays on her. There's nothing there. But I do want to, we have a Murphy blind. I think we'll break her to a head pull on the left. As I said to Joey, when they get in the last turn, what happens is it's hard to recover from that, right? When you go into the turn on a line and you can't straighten them out, they'll get in, they'll touch themselves, they'll get out of gear, then they'll get angry, frustrated, and not very often you're going to see a yearling go into a turn on a half-mile track, twisted around, going any sort of training speed and recover or work through it, come out of the turn and drive away. You just don't see that very often. So I think we'll break her to a head pull on the left. Murphy blind on her. I'll let Dr. Latessa go over again, but we did do some preliminary x-rays. There was nothing found with her, and I don't suspect there'll be much of a problem. What I suspected is she's probably interfering in the turns, because down the lane last time she was running in, but Joey said she'd come off the next time around. Well, when horses with lameness issues, they don't drift off and on those lines, right? They will get in a little bit more in the turns, maybe even get out in the straightaway. So in that regard, they will. But that line starts getting a little harder, right? As you go, it did not with her, and I'm more apt to believe she's interfering a little bit. No boots on her behind. Let's go with some bell boots, bandages, Murphy blind, and head pole on the left, or maybe start with the line pole and see how Aunt Sarah is next week. But I don't think there's going to be any problems there. My only issue in this set was Tavion Hanover. Now, we're always trying to be aggressive with our horses, and what I mean is the sales and the purchases, the acquisitions and the sales of the horses. When it comes to Tavion Hanover, I like his attitude, I love his pedigree, I like the horse himself. I just don't know if he's got the slickest gait. And I'm always going to cheer for an underdog, but I'm watching him today, and he trot. You could probably go a mile and 255 with him right now. But are we going to be able to get to 155? It's really early to extrapolate. And as I said to you before, it's unfair to really try to. But it is my job also, at every juncture along the way, every day, every week, every month, to evaluate and reevaluate the horses. And I am watching both him and Cheers to Beers. I just don't want to get too far into the season and then have to make a decision. We're going to move this guy. I would rather move him early if I believe that he's not going to be a racehorse, or at least not going to be a stake horse, which we bought him for. And if that's the case, I'm more apt to just turn him over earlier, take our lumps, take our lumps. And listen, I'll be the first one to admit, this was one of my top picks in the entire Harrisburg sale. The entire sale. I loved everything about him. Certainly loved the price of him. But when it comes in, somebody said, "Well, those videos, geez, they tell you a whole lot." Well, in New York's got a terrible video, and I think he's going to be a really, really nice horse. And Hanger One is a terrible video, and I think he's going to be a very, very nice horse also. So the videos are telling, in the sense that, in the case with Tavion, did look a little clunky, but when you go back to Temporal Hanover's video, which I did, very, very similar. So here you got one horse who almost made $1 million and is a stud in Indiana, who didn't have the greatest video. And then you go and look at Tavion Hanover, very, very similar, eerily similar video. And yet, doesn't appear to me like he's Temporal Hanover. So what do we do with that information? I don't know. I'm going to let it marinate for a little bit, and probably make a decision at some point between now and Christmas. So, all in all, though, I think I couldn't have asked anybody to do more out of set 2. The one that impressed me the most, just because I wasn't sure of 1, her cardio, 2, her health, or 3, where she was in her training, was Blue Rare, and she blew me away with how good she looked. She was very good. Nobody really in the first 2 sets gave me any sort of serious concern other than the Tavion Hanover thing, which, I know he's trying to work through it. He's a nice horse in that regard. I just don't know if he's going to be able to. And it's just the simple mechanics that I see right now. Set 3, I had Hanger One in there, and I think he just got bottled up and made a break. We made a little shoeing change behind. And no, at the end of it wasn't a break at all. His brace bandage had come undone and was ended up. I just didn't want to see him trip on it or anything. I just pulled him up. He was trotting fine before that. I am going to make another little change with him up front. We're going to take the flip-flops off him. Just think he's coming a little bit close to himself behind. Now, this could dissipate with Cork. We could get a head check. You see his head's very low. We took the head check off, but just didn't want to fight with him until we came to an understanding, right? These green shoes can be a little feisty in the barn sometimes, and I just didn't want to get into an arm wrestling match with this guy. I didn't want to be fighting with him. So we came to an agreement. You cannot wear a head check for a little while, as long as you don't annoy me. And so far, it's all worked out well. Now, at some point, he will need a head check on. He's behaving himself pretty good, but I think we'll get the flip-flops off him, and you may see the hobbles go on him. He seems like a lot of the green shoes we had in the past, a little bit of a scatterbrain, especially if he's interfering or coming close to it. They stray. Their mind strays very easily, and I want to get this guy buttoned down early and keep him that way as long as I can. I saw how fast his brother was, but again, a couple of costly breaks in his life cost him a lot of money, and if we can keep this guy buttoned down and paying attention and focused on his work from now till whenever, who knows what kind of horse he can be. I was very impressed with his overall behavior in a whole, though. It's one thing I liked about Hanger One. Cherry's Girl's got a little curb left hind. Joey said, I don't know why she run down the lane. I know why she run. She got a little curb left hind. Now, Dr. Latessa is coming. I was wrong. I told everybody was x-rayed. I was wrong, Dr. Latessa. I thought he finished them all, but he has 4 left. He's going to x-ray tomorrow. And if he has that nitrogen with him, I'm wondering if it might be a good day to cryo. A couple of splints. Jailbird Jog's got a couple of splints. We'll talk about her in a minute. As does Degas, got a splint. I'm sure there's a couple other ones kicking around the barn, and we definitely have one curb sighting in Cherry's Girl. Listen, big, powerful, strong filly. I'm not worried about her today. In New York was good, right line, Jason said. So he's one of the last horses we have to x-ray. I don't foresee any issues. I wouldn't actually mind seeing one. If he come back and said, tiny little OCD right hind ankle, that would be perfect. Then I don't have to go trying to fix something that is an easy fix. But we'll figure that out tomorrow. I'll tell you a horse that looked very good, and I've been telling you how good she's been coming, was Joj Fotag, Mrs. Sweeney's sister. She looked very, very good. Diosa Della Danza looked awesome. I said to Tyler, listen, I know she's a little lazy, but don't rev her up too much, because I'm Fancy Like was maybe one of the laziest horses ever. By the time we got to the races, I think the first month she wore snake cord. So just go easy. It's a long time before. Tyler did a great job with her. She looked very good. Jailbird Jog did make a bunch of breaks, was horsing on in the barn today, squealing at other horses and kicking at them and just being a little rude today. Amy was beside herself because her fillies were acting up, but just relax. A long time to go. I trained Jailbird Jog 52 by herself. I have no problems with Jailbird Jog, and there'll be no problems with Jailbird Jog, but you're going to have days like today. Neuromancer, Jason wanted to make some wholesale changes. Birch bit in his mouth. I told him, I said, I don't want to fight with Neuromancer right now, right? It's not the time to fight with him. Want to put a little weight on him and trotting boots behind, that's fine. If he's hogging on that head check, then fine. We'll put the birch bit on him. Jason says he was. It's pretty easy to see. We'll just go back and look at the video. If he is, by hogging down on it, I mean, so a lot of you older horsemen out there, you'll know you put the leather colt bit on them, right? To break them. Usually what we do is just put the snaffle bit, or if they act up, a rubber snaffle bit, and we'll put the head check just right to it, because I don't really want it tight on them anyway. But if they're going to lay right into it, we'll go to a check bit, or if they're really laying into it and being a little bit rude, we'll just go right to a birch bit in their mouth, and usually kind of nips it in the bud right away for the most part. We'll see if Neuromancer is laying in his head check, and in fact he is. And it's certainly not me saying Jason's wrong, but if it was just him acting up and throwing his head, well, maybe we'll just go to a check bit or a chin strap on him, or put a colt bit on him. But if he actually is laying in his head check, then we'll go to something a little more severe. And that is why he just said he was looking around and acting up, and laying in his head check and bouncing around, and he made a break. I said, well, he's a baby. They'll do that. It's not the end of the world. The horses, I guess, did it perfect today in set 3, where Diosa Della Danza. Hanger 1 was doing it perfect before I had to pull him up. Joj Fotag looked very, very good also. Very happy with those horses in set 3. Now, set 4, a bit of a smoke show in there. I was so pleased. Now, riding the rodeo, Joe said, was a little bit rough. She still has a lot of white mucus in her nose. Not that yellow sick stuff, but that white allergy stuff. Before you get too concerned, it is concerning. But I'll tell you, another horse that had it really bad last year was Gorgeous Package. And we were able to work with her and have a very successful 2-year-old season with her. So it's not in any way, shape, or form meant to be frowned upon or looked at as a death sentence. It's not. but you do have to work on it. So we got to get her good. Joe said she was a little rough in the corners, maybe some brace bandages. We're going to opt to put a heavier set of hobbles on her also. And I'll go with her a couple of times this week, but he said, otherwise, Anthony, beautiful filly, does everything good. Rose Run Bobby looked awesome. We were smoking right along the last half, and Bobby was right there. Perfect Thought looked awesome also. Really, really pleased with this filly. Steady Volo, Jason. I know Jason hasn't gone with all our best horses, but he's of the belief that Steady Volo is one of them. Solidarity. I said to Tyler, I went with him yesterday. I know what he does. When you cinch him up at all, he kind of just throws his head a little bit and makes a break. Just leave him alone. Just let him do his work. Very loose lines. And I know when I could tell by the way Tyler talked, whenever he got him in a spot where he had to grab him or he got a little claustrophobic, he would apt to make a break. There's nothing wrong with that. We can work on that stuff as we go along. But I wouldn't be overly concerned with any breaks that Solidarity made. I went with him yesterday. Now I'll tell everybody completely. So here, if there's a horse that's acting up, and Tyler or Jason or any of the Jasons or anybody comes and say, hey, you should go with this guy, I'll go out, survey the scene, so to speak. How's he doing it? And yesterday, I was jogging beside one of the horsemen. Crap. Just give me a minute. Donnie Irvine Jr., good old horseman. And we're talking about the sale and how, this should have been a high six-figure horse, and how the Tall Dark Strangers have really let people down, and we've only had 2, and it's really early, but I don't see any of the scouting reports that I've heard about them in these horses, neither of them. So I said, this horse made breaks on Tyler, and we don't even wear a head check on him. He just wears a closed bridle, set of hobbles, that's it. I scored him down 1/4 in 42 seconds. Now that's a quarter, that's a half in 24, that's a mile in 48. That's more than enough speed, and I could have went plenty more. I just pulled him up, walked him, jogged him another 2 laps. Donnie said, I don't see anything wrong with him. I said, no, he's a nice horse. Now, I did not see the video yet because I was focused on Perfection Hanover. And I just think every year, you guys know, every year I just get a horse that I just zone in on, that I really, really like. Doesn't mean that's a good horse. I want it to be. I truly hope it is. Doesn't mean that it is. And so far, Perfection Hanover is just blowing me away. Millie Girl. Scary, beautiful gait. I love to watch, whether it's a trotter or a pacer, just effortless work. Just go out and play. When you know they're playing and they're doing more work than the other horses around them, it's usually a pretty good indicator they're fast. Now, where's that ceiling? The reason that I talk up Perfection Hanover so much, this is Poppy Rob Hanover's brother. Breeding-wise, there shouldn't be a ceiling. And I don't know what Tall Dark Stranger is going to be like this year. I know we have 2, and I love them both. So I don't know whether Solidarity made a break today or not. I don't really care. I know I went with him yesterday. The horse was awesome. Really impressed with him. Perfect Thought. Really impressed with her. The only horse that hasn't blown me away in this set yet is Riding the Rodeo. I guess maybe Sweet Lake I haven't gone with, but she was right there with everybody today and looked very, very good. Riding the Rodeo has just been a little bit sick, right? Kind of that Blue Rare thing, but Blue Rare did look, aggressive today. She wanted to play. She wanted to do her work. Riding the Rodeo, I just haven't sat behind her yet, so it's unfair for me to comment on her. Millie Girl can fly. Sweet Lake appears to do all the work you need her to do. Solidarity, I know, can go. There's not going to be any issue there. Steady Volo, Jason swears, is one of our best horses. Perfect Thought looks great every time I see her on the track. Big, beautiful white blaze. Doesn't wear a boot, just a Murphy blind outside and can bounce. Rose Run Robbie, at this point, is one of our best trotters. And Perfection Hanover, I'm telling you, this horse just seems to have no shortage of effortless speed. And he does not need it. Amy just needs to have fun. Just go with him for a little while. See what I'm talking about. And he'll settle, too. And I don't want to go with him because I know I am guilty of it. I'll go with the horse, rev it up. The next week it'll be hot, and then there'll be a snake cord on it. I get it. We joke about it. James or Scotty jokes about it. It's true. I get it. This guy, he's a real treat to go with. And so's Millie Girl also. So it appears that set 4, it was loaded with a lot of our best talent today also. Take nothing away from, I'll give you just a short run through after set 5 of the horses that have really blown me away so far. The 5th set, Amy was just beside herself with Degas. She couldn't get her to go. She switched with Tyler and Zena Kemp and Amy. You know, Zena can get a little. She's just playful and so fast. And there was no handholds on the lines, right? We take them all off until it gets cold. There should have been some on. There wasn't. And Amy was like pulling on her. I said, just let her trot. She'll be fine. She goes, oh my God, she's so fast. I said, yeah, she's really fast. She's a nice filly and loves her work. Zena Kemp seems to be a legit filly. Now, you guys got to look at My Name is Wayne, and if you're got a really sharp set of eyes on you, you might have said, that does not look like Jason McGuinness. It wasn't. So, I'll give you a little backstory just to start set 5. My Name is Wayne comes from orange juice all over my pants. Comes from Todd Luther and his wife. They sent her up here. They kept a little piece of her, and a number of their family members have. Now, Buck Holler, right? Calvin Holler. If you guys have been to our barn in Northfield, we have the entire barn except the front part of the third shed row. That is Amy and Buck Holler, Calvin Holler. Well, their daughter is married to Todd. So Buck said, hey, I might buy into this filly. Do you mind can I go with her? Of course you can go with her. You can go with all of them. You can go as many as you want if you want. So he went with her. He rather liked her. Pretty hard not to. She got a nice gait. And I told him, I said, the Heston Blue Chips to me, we haven't been burned with any of them. They seem like a working man's horse, right? Just a blue collar stud. That's how I perceive it. We had More Than You Know was a pretty nice horse a couple years ago. And then our colt this year, the big colt that we raced in the Stallion Series is in Ontario. Drawing a blank. What the hell's wrong with me? I literally just had the horse's head the horse name in my head. Anyway, I don't have an issue with them. It's tough jurisdiction, Pennsylvania. But at that price, when you're looking for a working man's horse, which she appears to be, pretty hard to beat it. Beautiful gait, great attitude. Now, Tyler, we've only had her a few days, and Tyler went with her the other day and said Murphy blind left side, she's running in. Well, hanging up babies is not like hanging up racehorses. Put the Murphy blind on the left, and she was paralyzed on the left line, running away from it. It's not like racehorses where you just throw it on and they're like, they get in a little bit left. That's perfect. Sometimes when you put that Murphy blind on a baby for the first time, they're the other way, and she was. Left line hard. But that was all the Murphy blind. But looked good to me. Looked like she did her work, understood her job, and from what I could see, it looked like Buck liked her. Now, I wanted to go with Elisa Hanover. That's Steve's filly. Very well-bred filly, and I like her. I like her attitude. I went out and scored her down. I could see she made a couple of breaks, just like she did on Jason. I knew what was going on. Went in, put another set of bell boots on her, put a Murphy blind on the left. I told you, sometimes it doesn't work that way, but in this way it did. In this case, it did. I wish we had boots on her behind. She was just in the turn. She would just creep in hair, and I lost her in the last turn, and that's why. But seemed to have lots of speed, and I really like this filly. Capistrano Nights, we're going to take the flip-flops off her. She seems like she got rubber boots on, right? She got a beautiful gait just like her mom, but she needs to stretch out, have some fun. I just think with those flip-flops, she can't right now. So I'd asked Enos, take the flip-flops off her, just hang them on her door in case we want to put them back on. And just go to a normal full swedge on Capistrano Nights. We'll go from that heavier hobble we put on her to maybe a medium hobble. We had light ones on her before and she was okay. We went to the heavier Jack's hobbles. We're going to go to something in the middle that she might like a little bit more. Pulled them in a few holes, and I think Capistrano Nights will be fine. We scratched Cheers to Beers, and I talked to you guys the other day about it. Forging a little bit. 80 temperature today, but forging a little bit. Out of gear. Some questions surrounding him also. Degas, just not her day. And I told Amy, I said, relax. There's lots of time. Fillies will work through it. Just give them time. I went with Degas the other day. I thought there was nothing wrong with the filly. I liked what I saw. Just leave her alone. Royal Flush Dio looked very, very good. I believe he got up and beat Wayne, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I did not see the finish because I was back a little bit. I made a break. But Royal Flush Dio looked very good. Paul did a good job with him today. Zena Kemp looked great. My Name is Wayne, he was great. And then Elisa Hanover, when I come back out, looked very, very good. I could have put her in a closer position getting into the last turn and just kind of sat there, let her settle in the last turn and let her trot down the lane. But I let her back up a little bit, and when I was asking her to advance, she was doing it very well. But then she got to the turn, just crept in ever so slightly, just touched herself and made a break. It happens with babies. I'm not that worried about it. Now, I am going to tell you about all the horses that kind of have blown me away in one way or another. Either their gait, their attitude, their speed, whatnot. I like don't ask again, but she's a horse that I'm going to have to go with for a while. You're not going to see a snake cord on her. She can be a little lazy at times, and I think Amy and the guys have been jawing her and going with her all week. She kind of slides into neutral really easy. She was awesome the other day when I went with her. Today, she was just good. She was just good, but I was happy with her. Pretty Eyes and Lies, I think, is going to be a nice filly for us. Love Sensation needs to do more. I'll be working on her this week. Tomboy Strong, she's done everything perfectly from day one. Go Strong Hanover, done everything perfectly from day one. And then Jolene Hall today just knuckled over, and Captain Doolittle, shoeing change needed on him. It's coming. Blue Rare, I don't know how to explain it. It's not like she's the most improved because we haven't seen her yet. And she wasn't better than everybody. She was just awesome. Very, very good. Judy's Money loses a shoe. Doesn't matter because out does her work. She's dialed in good now. Really, really happy with her. Royal Duchess you just need to work with. And Had to Know looked great also. Third set, Joe J. Fotag looked awesome. Diosa Della Danza, awesome. Hanger 1 looked awesome until I had to pull him up. Cherry's Girl, got to get that curb crowd, but she has looked great. Jailbird Jog has been fast, looks great. And Neuromancer, mark my words, before the open house, you're going to be wowed by how this horse looks. I plan on going with the videos next Wednesday also. It's supposed to be +8 going up to 10 and sunny. I would like to go with them on Wednesday also. And if I do, I'd like to go with Neuromancer. And I think you're going to see what we're all talking about with Neuromancer. 4th set, Millie Girl looks perfect. A+. Sweet Lake looks good. Solidarity looks good. Steady Volo looks good. Perfect Thought looks very good. Riding the Rodeo, just need to go with her, get the kinks out of her. Got to work on that congestion in her head. We can do that. We went through it last year with Gorgeous Package. We'll put her on the same program. Rose Run Bobby looks like probably one of the most grounded, fastest horses we have in the barn right now. Trotting side, very impressed with this filly. And I think after today, I told you the other day I liked Millie Girl because she was a sweet Lou, but I'm going to forgive the Tall Dark Stranger in Perfection Hanover because I personally don't know enough about what the shortcomings of that sire were last year. I see 0 with Perfection Hanover. He is the bar right now at A+. Him and Millie Girl are right there together. Maybe Bobby, I suppose. They don't seem to have any kind of chinks in their armor. They do everything perfectly. And Perfection Hanover just does not seem to have any shortage of speed. It's just all play all the time. And I just love that about him. The last set, I'll go Royal Flush Hanover. I thought was great. Xena Kemp looks flawless. Makes breaks and acts up. Baby looks flawless on the track. Beautiful filly. And the Waney filly looked good also. Elisa Hanover, infinitely better than she was the other day and still improving. So I was happy with them. The ones that didn't go today, Highest Honors, we castrated him. We'll see how him, Peter, Uncle Danny, Jason said was amazing the other day. But again, he was on this castration list. Short of breaking the track record, he wasn't getting out of that. So Highest Honors, he's a Peter. Uncle Danny, Rico Tubbs, Supermind, all look good. Leland Hanover hit the pace today. Sterling Hanover looks good. He'll be out. They'll both be out for open house day. Steph's Hope and Megan's Lucky Day. What's the date? It might be a little much to ask them to go out on open house day on the 29th. That's 18 days from now. 14 from now they get the sutures out. No, that's not possible. Unless we have like just a very easygoing set, which every year we do. If that's the case, then you may see them back in action. But 14 days with the sutures in from here on in. And then Woodmere Bullet, you're not going to see him. He's in PEI. So that is just about as in-depth a rundown as I can give you moving forward. So that is what took place today. Thoroughly happy. I know Amy was disappointed. Listen, these are the days when you see that mud or rain or snow or ice. These are the days the horses have to persevere. I want to see what they're up to. How dialed in are they? How much are they dedicated to their craft, to their work? And, where do we go from here? So that is where I'm at. Happy with today. not many horses disappointed me. Who's on my list moving forward? I can give you that pretty easily also. Love Sensation. Shouldn't have to be, but is. We'll see what's going on there. Jolene Hall, again, I'm sure she's perfectly fine. Captain Doolittle will be perfectly fine. I don't foresee any issues there. Tavion Hanover, he'll remain on my list for now, and he may end up on another list moving forward. The same as Cheers for Beers. In New York, I want to get a little more intimate look at this guy. This week, Hanger One, we're going to continue to work with his gear and his shoeing. Neuromancer, same type of thing with this guy moving forward. Solidarity, I already think I got a good enough look under the hood, but I'll look again. This week, Riding the Rodeo, I want to get a look at. So we're up around 6 or 7 so far for me already. Capistrano Nights, I'm sure is fine. I'll go with her after we change her shoes and her hobbles around again. Degas, I'll go with her also, as I will with Jailbird Jog. And I'll continue to go with Elisa Hanover for the next little bit. So around 7 to 10 horses on my list, on the principals list, so to speak, but nobody I'm really angry at. None of the horses disappointed me or made me angry today. I think I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, what went on today, and how we can fix it moving forward. So that was our baby training day in a nutshell. It's 2 o'clock now. In an hour, we're going to start warming up for the qualifiers. I'm going to go there. I'm going to come back. And after the qualifiers, I'm going to come back home. We only have Purple People Eater. I think I'm in race 9 and 10 again tonight. Thursday and Friday are a little deeper, but for right now, not a bad Wednesday. I will talk to all of you very, very soon. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your day.